Okay, hello everybody. So we had a really good interaction and good discussion in the microbiome forum. A lot of stakeholders, lot of voices, and a lot of energy. So the scene was set by Dusko Herrlich keynote, which really put the key point to start the discussion. First of all, the fact that really the human intestinal microbiome, and then this was broadened up with other type of microbiome that we have in the human body, is a so-called neglected organ. But it's a very important organ if you think about its size. Weight, 2 kilos of the mass of each individual is microbes. The fact that the important interface between the food and the epithelium, and also the fact that it is in contact with very important pools, both for the immune system and also for the second pool of neural cells in the body. And clearly, if we have this concept of the microbiome as an organ, another organ in the body, clearly it's important that in an organ all the different parts function well. And so the key importance to look also at the microbiome in this context. And then he continued just also indeed that there is clear evidence that the gut microbiome appears altering many chronic disease, and we will know that chronic disease are really the important challenge of today and of the future. Then clearly the discussion went towards the challenges, and first of all, the scientific challenges. There are many scientific challenges that were identified. First, really the need for standardization of the different type of studies, the different type of measurement. Of course, we have already standards that are out there, and we should not forget about what has been done, but there is really an enormous amount of work that needs to be done in this field. Then there was really some more fundamental discussion. What is the microbiome? How can be characterized and better defined? What is a healthy microbiome? And then interestingly, the discussion went also towards the fact that what is a healthy patient or a healthy individual. And then there was, for example, some discussion about the fact that there is already some concept out there, like, for example, the fact of the richness of the microbiome and its diversity as an important parameter for defining maybe this healthiness. But still, there is, again, also there a lot of discussion and work to be done. Then also there was a lot of discussion of the challenge in defining the link between the host response and the microbiome changes and vice versa, the fact that there can be some vicious circle that are created when disease is there, and the fact how instead we can have a virtuous circle, and how can we move from one to the other. Then clearly there was a clear challenge is really a better mechanistic understanding of microbiome alteration, because the microbiome can be altered because of treatment. So there was a lot of discussion, clearly very important for what concerns pharmaceutical development, the effect of a treatment on the microbiome, the effect of the microbiome on the treatment, but then also the fact that the microbiome is modified, influenced by many different factors, of course diet, this is clear, but also smoking, lifestyle changes, stress. Then also there was a lot of discussion about the fact that we still don't know what is the real causal link between microbiome status and disease or disease risk factors. And then last but not least, what is that we want to analyze? We have the microbiome. What is it? Is it bacteria? Is it virus? Is a lot to understand there. And also about what and how to standardize and also do the best pre-analytical treatment of the different stools. We talk about how to store them, how to transport them, especially if then we will go in the context of clinical trials, and also what are the analytical challenges. So a lot of work to be done. Then there was an interesting section with 2 regulators, one from IMI and one from EFSA. And clearly one thing that came as a first point is that really the important link that is still need to be done between product quality and composition. So if we talk about product containing live bacteria or microbiome, to mechanism of action, and then to potency efficacy, which is a clear things that need to be evaluated by the regulator, but this link need to be made. The fact that there is no harmonized view for classification of products containing living bacteria. Are they medical products? Are they device? Are they food supplement? And also that there are many different bodies, regulatory bodies that are active in the field. We have bodies at European level, IMI, IFAS, but also at national level. And there is a lack for an harmonized regulatory approach for this area. And then clearly what was very evident was that the regulators still don't have the data that they need for their work, for moving regulatory science. And so at the moment we are going to a case-by-case approach, and clearly there are no guidelines yet on this. And last but not least, it was also talked about the importance of communication among the regulators and innovators, and the fact that this should be enhanced. Then there was also a very, very intensive discussion about in the panel of the different stakeholders, and here key and really theme that came over and over again was about the fact of the importance for data sharing, data access for enabling innovation. And the fact that there are some significant barriers to be overcome was also mentioned, that we have some progress and some new technology that, and approaches that can be used. So there is something there that could be used to approach this important challenge. And then the fact that clearly patients need to be involved from the beginning and as partner, and they need to be properly informed if they will be motivated to participate. So, and also the importance to listen to the patients. Then when we will talk about the different type of industry and how they can better interact, clearly it was defined importance to define the perimeter of a middle area where both the food industry and the pharma can work together and generate value for both. And also was also discussed the fact that the patient pathway of today most probably is very different from the patient pathway of tomorrow. We are going more and more from treatment of disease to disease interception and to disease prevention, and therefore the pathway to the patient will change. Last but also important, the fact that the microbiome field is very active and move very fast, so whatever is done has to keep up with the science. There are also a lot of investment resources already out there. It is important to capitalize on this. It is important to de-risk product development in this area. And also it was said, do not forget the animals. There is already a lot of work that has been done, for example, in the field of veterinary medicine or in the animal health sectors in general. So this should be really capitalized on, and learning could be used from this area. And also what discusses, so maybe this could also help going beyond the classical experimental animal models, which have different challenges. And then last but not least, maybe not all the players were there, and clearly there is a need to involve also the digital industry. But clearly it was also an agreement of everybody that there are clear incentives to collaborate and create partnership. There was clear evidence that the different industry sectors, the food and pharma, have complementary experience and expertise, tools and methods that could be shared and leveraged to common benefit. There are lots of very significant new knowledge and important asset, database, biobank, standard in the public space that could be really taken to the next level by the interaction with the industry. Really, it was also the partnership should involve the regulator. The regulator need data to move the regulatory science in order to enable new products reaching the market. And also the importance to partnership together to create an open innovation space that could be extremely important, especially if they risk biotech activity in this field. And of course, the patient, again, they need new treatment. They have to be, this new treatment need to be developed together with them to ensure really that this will have a clear impact on what is a matter to them, which is quality of life. And clearly, IMI could have a clear role in empowering the field by linking all these different stakeholders. At the end, there was also a discussion on the first ideas. The slides will be available, and there was quite a lot of discussion, a lot of very active. So here I just say that the different title of the team. One was about looking at large longitudinal studies with open access to metadata. Then it was talked about a bioinformatics solution for strain level identification and analysis of hypothetical genes, development of biobank of identifiable species with metadata, reference method, and standards, translational studies addressing microbiome causability in human health and disease. So clearly there was again a coming back to the same challenges that were identified before, and then, of course, try to identify maybe also a new point that should be added. But what is also very clear that really developing an alliance between food and drug areas could really be important also for a sustainable healthcare system and getting there, and that the microbiome is a very ideal area just in the middle, and it could be really an important opportunity that we shouldn't miss, and maybe as IMI we can definitely help.
Thanks very much, Elisabetta. So I'm asking Elisabetta just to stay here for a minute or two, maybe for other people who are in that group to comment on what was said, or other people who weren't in the group to ask the odd question. Yes, there is a question or comment here. Thank you.
What are the concrete next plans of IMI now to continue here in this field?
Well, the ideas are still very early, so it was really the first brainstorming with the different stakeholders. So I think now the groups will go back with the learning that from the workshop. Also, of course, if other people that will see also the slides have any input, that would be great to be received, and then we will. The work is a lot, but there is a lot of motivation.
I mean, obviously, ultimately, we would like to actually launch a call. So before we launch a call, we have to have a specific topic, and that topic has to be supported by those who are going to contribute to that piece. Industry, associated partners, and others who want to play in this space. So that'll be the first step. It may take some time, and that's fine. We'd rather get it right than rush into something. But so there needs to be that commitment up front before we can liberate public money that would go to the beneficiaries of a consortium.